This is a short video on what I believe are the basics of conflict resolution. So I'm going to talk about reflective listening process. I'm going to talk about the concept of recreation, and then the concept of seeing the future that the other person sees. And then a really important concept is trying to avoid blame when you're in a conflict. So the first thing I want to talk about is the reflective listening process. And this starts with person one speaking uninterrupted until they're done speaking, and then person two reflecting back what you've heard. And you will be asking the question, is this right or is there more? And then step 1 and 2 is repeated until person one has nothing more to say. So this process goes until person one is done speaking and they've felt heard by person two. And then in a reflective working sort of practice, we then flip and have person one speak, person two speak uninterrupted, and person one listen reflectively. So the goal of this is for person two to completely recreate the reality of person one, so that person one completely feels heard in the process. So recreation means not that you agree, but that you represent it, and you can actually explain this person's reality to somebody else. So again, that's not about you need to agree, but you need to be able to explain their position completely. And this relates to once you understand somebody's position, then you can understand this concept that everyone's actions are correlated to the future that they see. So if you understand the future they see and the reason they're doing the things they are, then this is much easier to have a chance of understanding what's going on and coming to a resolution about that. The last really important thing I want to talk about is this idea that we really need to resist blame. And the way you do that is the first thing you do is to consider that you were possibly the cause of the conflict. Now, again, almost always in any system, there's two people or more people, and then there's the system in which they behave and the mental models that we've been talking about. But I'm asking us to let go of all those other things and just see, could it have been me that caused this conflict? And how might that have happened? It's difficult to do, and I will push us to try to consider that it is, I was the cause of conflict. After you fully explored that, then I think it's the next thing you want to do is consider, could the system be part of the conflict? Could the reward and punishments? Could the scarcity of resources? Could sort of close living situations or whatever related to causing the conflict in the wider system? And then the next thing you might consider is that the world, like for instance, we've all been dealing with the pandemic quite a bit. I mean, for the last year and a half, and that's really created a lot of stress for many of us. Financial stress, it's hard to learn online. We're worried about our health or the health of our loved ones. That's a lot. And that could be the cause of a particular conflict also. And then the last thing we would want to consider is it's the other is the one that caused the conflict. So this idea of really trying to avoid blame is trying to focus your attention on the three things: yourself, the system, or the world, before you consider the other as the cause of this. So this short video covered the reflective listening process, the idea of recreation, the idea that if somebody's actions are directly correlated to the future that they see, and then this concept of trying to avoid blame when we are in a conflict.